There's one aspect of it, though, that kind of bothers me. As the industry consolidates and we just have these big players, in Canada we're a little bit different from other countries. The big players, the Loblaws, Sobeys, Metro, they also have their wholesale divisions, which they sell to independents or franchise independents. And I can remember in the 70s, independents were a thriving group of retailers. Now, with the big guys controlling the wholesale, it's difficult for the independents to make any headway. I mean, the wholesalers control the prices that the independent retailer pays, and they also control the price that they can sell it for. So the margins are getting squeezed, and as a result, we're seeing more and more independents folding, disappearing, and that's always bad, and it does bother me, having been in the industry all these years, that we've gone from the independents basically driving the innovation to now the innovation is all with the big guys, and they're kind of slow to react.
Is that a concern for you as well?
Well, George is right. There is independent grocers are under a lot of pressure. There is some resistance in Quebec, though.
Yes.
There seems to be this joie de vivre, wanting to support the small players, family businesses. So, and I think there's always going to be a market for the mom and pop shops in food generally, because a lot of consumers will want to have that experience. And that's why Farm Boy, which is actually out of Ottawa, is doing very well. It's in the GTA now, doing very well, has 24 stores. It's expanding even more because they offer that small town feel that people want.
That certain je ne sais quoi, as you
That's
might
right,
put it.
exactly.
There we go. I mean, you're onto something there, because I remember, we're here at Yonge and Eglinton, and across the road was a Dominion stores until, I guess, a few years ago, and then it just disappeared, kind of without a peep. Now, is Nob Hill Farm still around? I don't even know.
Well, the last time I was on this program, I was asked what's been the major change in the number of chains, and I was trying to think back, and I seem to remember 35 chains of grocers.
When?
Around 1965.
Huh, okay.
And now, basically you've got these four guys, that we just mentioned. But the interesting thing is, on Sylvain's point, some of the independents, a few of them, have grown by doing things really, really uniquely, and that's why Farm Boy and Longo's are successful, because they've been able to go beyond the one or two store situation, so they have a number of stores, which increases their buying power, and they're more able to compete against the big guys.
And yet you still feel like you're shopping at a family business.
And you are.
Yeah.
And you are. That's the thing. You are shopping at a family business.
The other segment that is growing a lot, and some of these chains like Longo Brothers and Farm Boy are capitalizing on, is the whole segment of ready-to-eat products.
Yeah.
And I'm not sure if you noticed last time we went to a grocery store, but that counter is expanding almost every week. Yeah. Margins are much higher, and so they process foods, they prepare sandwiches, salads, everything you need to eat on the go, because we eat a lot on the go.
We sure do. Well, here's the bottom, let me ask you about one of the bottom lines here. As George indicated, we went from dozens of smaller businesses today to a small handful that basically control the whole thing. Are we as consumers better off for this kind of consolidation?
It depends on how you look at it.
Okay.
In one way, you do have some national players that are very strong and can compete and be very efficient. So that gives them the resources to be able to invest in things like e-commerce or click and collect, for instance.
So more choice for us then.
So in some ways, it means they have the ability to invest in new services. But to your point, it could limit the types of products you have in the store, potentially. So yeah, I think it depends on how you view it. But the other type of independent I see doing really well is also the ethnic grocers.
Yep.
Right.
The other side of the differentiated coin.
A&P around anymore?
That's a good question.
Long gone? A&P, I don't see those names out there anymore.
I'll go on a limb here, but I've always seen the grocery business in Canada as being quite conservative and not very good at innovating. And that's why you're seeing these external disruptors coming in and start to shake things around, like Amazon, Walmart and Costco. They're doing very well. So grocers are forced to look at meal kits. They're forced to look at how they're servicing their customers. The online business also is brewing. And so when it comes to products, I think Robin is right. It really, our consumers better serve. It depends how you see it, really. On pricing, without a doubt in my mind, Canadians actually do have access to a very affordable food basket overall compared to other countries around the world.
Who are, you've pointed out, we've got Metro here, some of the other big American ones are here as well, Loblaw, of course, number one. Who are the major American players that we should know about?
So in grocery, the number one, hands down, supermarket in the U.S. is Walmart. They are a grocer first and foremost.
That's funny. We don't think of them that way, though, do we?
Yeah. Well, it's the expansion of the supercenter. The majority of what that box sells is food and consumables. After that, it's Kroger, and then it really does fragment. The U.S. grocery market as a whole is very regional, very fragmented. So it does create a bit of a different sales environment there, and just different conditions overall.
It looks a lot more like Europe, really, because Europe is a very regionalized food economy. America looks a little bit like that, but Canada is really, I'm afraid to say, it's an oligopoly at the top, really.
An oligopoly? Well, a small handful of...
With a minuscule O. Yeah, because we want to be careful here, but generally speaking, you really have a few players controlling what Canadians are actually eating.
Well, let's talk about a couple of those big players right now. Amazon and Walmart we'll talk about in a bit, but I want to focus in on some of the news that we highlighted in the introduction, where you've got Loblaw shutting down 22 stores, you've got Sobeys laying off 800 people. George, help us understand, is this a sign that the grocery business is faltering in Canada?
Oh no, it's not faltering, but it's certainly attempting to keep up with the latest trends. I think that when Amazon bought Whole Foods, it seemed to send a shiver throughout the Canadian grocery industry. I'm not too sure why, because Whole Foods was not a well-priced supermarket. I mean, the things were more expensive there. And so, the worry wasn't that the prices might go down to compete with the Canadian grocery industry. I think the worry was Amazon is so good at home delivery and fast delivery and that kind of stuff that shook up a number of players in the Canadian grocery industry.
They wondered how this was going to shake up the marketplace.
Yeah, and they're wondering now. They all are investigating things like online shopping, home delivery. They're all investigating it. But right now the kind of the preferred method is click and collect, which means you order and then you go and get it from a source.
But you have to get it in that case.
You have to get it, yeah. But home delivery, I think, especially if you look at Korea and some of the other countries in Europe, I mean, it's very, very common, and not so much here. Although I must say, I just tried one of the new players about 2 weeks ago.
Which one?
InstaBuggy. They say they can deliver at grocery store prices within an hour if you want it.
And did they?
I didn't ask them to deliver within an hour, but I asked them to deliver within 2 hours, and they did. They did, and it was really good. The only thing is, it's a bit expensive. But I ordered bananas and some other produce. It was absolutely perfect, And I have a feeling that the price to deliver to your home, it may be a bit high now, but people will be willing to pay it to get
those 2 hours of their day back.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, price of convenience.
And I think that's coming, and that's what has bothered a lot of the big grocers in Canada. Is how do we compete in this industry?